Hey there, I'm Dr. Ruth Roberts, your pet's ally. Hey, Bettina, hope you are well and everybody is having a great day. We'll be announcing the winners of the curcumin and turmeric product and a little bit later today, so be on the watch out for an email from us if you entered, and we'll let you know what's going on. So lots of great questions today. I'm going to pop over to my cheat sheet, and Clara is saying that she's been feeding CrockPet diet for a week now, and her pup is always hungry, and she's been feeding him 2 cups in the morning and 2 cups in the evening, and he still seems to be hungry outside of his feeding time. So Clara, not sure how much your dog weighs, how active he is, things of that nature, but it definitely sounds, or if he's obese or if he's thin or any of those things. So in general, what I would suggest doing is adding in a few more calories, and there's a couple of ways to do that. One is by simply increasing the volume of food, and again, I'm not sure if you're feeding grains or beans or what's in your recipe, but if you're feeding a standard recipe, then what I would suggest doing is, which includes the beans and some sort of a carbohydrate, high starch carbohydrate, then what I would suggest doing is maybe adding a little extra either carbohydrate or a little extra fat. And so that could be as simple as a half a teaspoon of some sort of a healthy oil that you've already used in the batch of food, or you could add some additional rice or potatoes or whatever carbohydrate source you're using if your dog has had issues with pancreatitis. So I hope that makes sense. Debbie is asking if the new turmeric supplement is to replace the teaspoon of turmeric in the recipe or if it's in addition to. So the turmeric is in the recipe as more of a long-term strategy. So in Chinese medicine and in Ayurvedic medicine, turmeric sort of helps to resolve stagnation. So, but it is not at therapeutic dosage for reducing inflammation, whereas our new supplement, the Turmeric and Curcumin supplement, has sufficient dosage of turmeric and curcumin to actually help reduce inflammation. So again, it's going to be a supplement to the existing diet. And let's see, Shannon was asking about finding rhubarb root to purchase, and in the kidney course, and I think I actually talked about this last week, Shannon, but at any rate, so if you're looking for rhubarb root, you can head over to the main website or the main store, and if you scroll down the page, you will see a place where you can order or sign up for access to Fullscript, which is where we are able to provide. So if we head over to the site, let me just show you what I'm talking about. Great, so now we're back. All right, so if you head over to the site and scroll down, and this is at Dr. Ruth Roberts, the shop, so, and I put the link in there for you. So if you scroll down here towards the bottom, you will find a link that says Professional Supplements, and if you hit Create Account, it's going to take you to Fullscript, and Fullscript is a supplement pharmacy, if you will, that provides professional quality supplements. Once you've signed up, you will be able to sort of order them as you need. You should have access to the entire catalog at this point, and it looks like it's going into the editing part, which isn't very useful for you, but what you'll see when you get there is this login, and either you can sign up or you can log in, and then if we have not set up an account for you as yet, once you sign up, then we will approve your account and you can see kind of whatever's in there. But this would be the best place to find things like rhubarb, and the thuja that unfortunately is available here is the one that is supposed to be for topical use only. So this is not, whereas the Thuja that we've been recommending says for oral use. I will tell you that plenty of people have used it orally because it's at a relatively low dose without any issue. But the other products we used to carry that just aren't making sense for us to stock and ship to you, things like the Probiotics, if you really prefer that product, or heartburn treatment, or a myriad of others, plus a whole lot more, are available here, and they're all at a 5% discount off of the regular retail price. So I hope that is making sense for you. Now, let's see, let me pop over to the page and show you a couple of other questions. Let me make sure I get them all answered. So if we go here, Raven, welcome, and the recipe does call for about 2,000 milligrams of calcium for 3 pounds of protein, and as Laura says correctly, you have to look at the label of what you're using. So if it's the Now brand, I think that's 600 milligrams per teaspoon and a half. And then from this calcium citrate product, let me see if the picture will actually pop up because that'd be helpful. It's very different, 1,300 milligrams for a teaspoon and a half. So to do the math, what you would do is take 2,000, and so actually let's back it up and make it a little simpler from there. So we know that 1,300 milligrams is in 1.5 teaspoons, so we're going to take 1,300, divide it by 1.5, and that gives you 866.66666 milligrams per teaspoon. Now, if we're going to put 2,000 milligrams in, then you divide that by the 866.66, and that comes up with 2.3 or a little bit over 2¼ teaspoons per batch to give you the 2,000 milligrams. So I hope that makes sense. And I'm pretty sure somewhere in the, yep, and May answered that correctly. Thanks, May. So again, it just depends on the product you've got. But you do have to do a little bit of math, and if you need help and it's just not your thing, ask here and we'll get it squared away for you. So let's see, and if you guys didn't have a chance to see this, I had a really fun conversation with Angela Ardolino about CBD, and just a terrific amount of information from this lady. She is so smart. Now, Erin is asking about what probiotic would I recommend to start Rosie on with her many sensitivities. And so here's where the label kind of tells you everything you need to know. So your main goal is to have a probiotic. In this product, they have colostrum, which is a milk product, turmeric, which, that's great, and wild Alaskan salmon oil, organic licorice root, which actually does not say if it is diglycerized or not. And the reason that is important is that licorice can become toxic to our pets. Vitamin C, and then a probiotic blend, which is really, really low, only 400 million colony-forming units per soft chew. Now, aside from that, you've got salmon, palm fruit oil, oat flour, rice flour, flaxseed, sunflower lecithin, and then powdered cellulose, which is essentially paper, coconut glycerin, which is just to help with the texture, sorbic acid, I think this is a typo actually, it should be scorbic acid, which is the vitamin C, rosemary extract, and mixed tocopherols, which are both used for preserving the thing, and then there's some concern about rosemary extract causing toxicity in pets. So if Rosie has a ton of dietary sensitivities, this would be an atom bomb in a bottle, basically. So no, I would not use this. And you're not going after the main thing. if you're after is a probiotic, this is extremely low dose with a lot of other stuff in it that could create many, many issues. And so the product I've been recommending such good success with it is Phytospore. And if you are not familiar with it, check it out on the website. If I can type, that would be a miracle today. SPR, there we go. But the reason I'm suggesting this one is that for pets that have sensitivities to prebiotics, which are unfortunately in many of the probiotic products available, including the therapeutic product we used to carry, this one is sort of a breath of fresh air. It is a lower dose. It is 4 billion colony-forming units, but this is a sporulated probiotic, meaning that the way it works is the little spores are sort of in hibernation mode, and so they don't open up until they get into the large intestine, which is where they are supposed to do their work. Now, the other thing is that it includes another organism called Pediococcus, and this has been really interesting because this is found on grass. So lo and behold, evidently our pets were trying to inoculate their guts by eating grass. Or at least that's the theory, so I'm sticking to it. So I hope that makes sense, Aaron. Generally, what I would suggest if there are a lot of problems is to start off as the label says, which is to give 1 capsule daily for 30 days and then go to every other day for a couple of weeks. If you don't see any recurrence of symptoms, then go to every twice a week rather, and so on and so forth until you get down to once a week dosing. And it is not an inexpensive product, but I feel that if you can get to the lower dosing, it really is super helpful. So I hope that makes sense and is helpful, Aaron. But this label sort of tells it all. This is stuff that you all think is really good, and they are good ideas, but in this situation, this is just a really bad presentation. And then the other issue is that all of these chews typically have ingredients in them that just are not real food. So for instance, a lot of the other chews have brewer's yeast and things of that nature that can also create sensitivity. So read labels really, really carefully. This is a product that's been developed because this is stuff that they think you will buy, and it's not the best option for your pet. So on to May's question about pumpkin or butternut squash, things of that nature. So you got a couple of great options as far as you're using a tablespoon once or twice a day and the can won't stay fresh. So you can definitely just drop it onto a cookie sheet on top of parchment paper and let that freeze and then just pick them up. You can put it in ice cube trays to freeze out individual portions. And then squash, yeah, you can usually find it fresh. You can find it frozen, which would be a better option than the baby food, although it is not already cooked. So kind of see how that goes. And usually when vegetables are frozen, you can pull out a chunk of squash. You don't have to defrost the entire bag, if that makes sense. But that will be a much less expensive option, May, and should be a little bit better too. So yeah, Leona got you the same idea of putting the plops on the parchment paper and to freeze it up. And let's see. Joanne and Roger, great to see you all. These folks were clients in Charleston for some time ago with their new pup. And yes, if you've purchased broccoli, you can use the leaves, the stems. What I would do is trim the end of the stem off so that it, the sort of the beat up part of it doesn't get cooked. And then the part of the broccoli stem that is really thick and crunchy, I would cut into like 1 or 2 inch chunks and cook it that way, and then throw the leaves in for sure. So good to see you all. And I think that is what I've got here. Let me pop back over to my question sheet and make sure I've got everything answered for you. Yeah, I think that's got it. So happy February to you. Tomorrow is Groundhog Day. I think everybody's been freezing their behinds off in the U.S. because of this cold front that went through. I saw a lot of pictures of snow. So take good care, stay warm, hug everybody, and until next week, remember your pet's best health starts in the bowl. I'm Dr. Ruth Roberts, your pet's ally.